26 at Seek. Annual notice having been forwarded to the New Jersey Herald and the New Jersey Sunday Herald and posted on the bulletin board maintained in the municipal building for public announcements. Would you please rise and join us in a salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Bongiovanni?
Here.
Mr. Duncan?
Here.
Mr. Gaffney?
Here.
Mrs. Crock?
Here.
You're muted. You're muted all of a sudden, Danielle.
Danielle, you're muted. There you go.
Still muted.
No swearing. Ron, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, now
Gotcha,
we're good.
Bill.
I don't know what happened. Mr. Riley?
I'm here, I think.
Yep.
Am I here?
What happened?
Here.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Councilman Schindler?
Here.
Mayor Francis?
Here.
Mr. Gilbert?
Here. Could we have a motion, please, to appoint Danielle as the temporary secretary in Nicole's absence?
I'll make that.
Like
I'll
to
second
second
it.
that.
Take your choice.
All
Mark?
in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Minutes. The minutes of the last meeting were distributed electronically. I had one correction which was made. Are there any other additions or corrections to the minutes of October 5th, 2021?
What is your change, Alan? What did you change?
It was just a word. Let's see.
It was a typo.
Yeah, it was a typo. Okay, I will entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Duncan?
Abstain.
Mr. Gaffney?
Abstain.
Mrs. Crock?
Judy?
Judy?
Judy.
Judy?
Oh, boy.
Muted herself.
No, now she's muted herself. Oh, boy.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Tappan?
Yes.
Councilman Schindler?
Yes.
Mayor Francis?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes. We have no continued applications. We will start with new applications. Robert Ferenzi, Block 50605, Lot 5.01, 30 Hilltop Road. The applicant would like to put an addition on an existing garage. There are variances being requested. Is there somebody here representing Mr. Ferenzi?
I am here with Mr. Ferenzi.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello,
Yes.
Joe Gates, Gates Architectural, here with the Ferenzi.
Okay, is Mr. Ferenzi here also?
Yes. Right here, Robert Ferenzi.
Okay.
Hello?
Do you want to raise your hands, please, and be sworn in by our attorney?
Okay.
Raise your right hand.
You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Gates?
The names, that was Mr. Gates,
Correct.
Mr.
Judge.
Ferenzi, and Mrs. Ferenzi.
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Mrs. Ferenzi, what is your first name?
Randy?
Thank you. Okay, who is going to testify first?
Robert, would you like to introduce your project?
Yes. Okay. I would like to put a 24 by 30 feet onto my existing garage. And as you know, the problem is I need a variance so the footprint of the garage is more than half the footprint of my house. And that's basically why I'm here, I think.
And you, Robert, are one of the property owners?
Yes, I am the property owner.
Okay. Mr. Ferenzi, are you in receipt of Mr. Rushke's letter, McDonald letter?
Yes,
And did you see the two technical review items? Proposed limit of disturbance should be confirmed and configuration of the asphalt driveway connecting the garage extension
Yes.
doesn't appear to be wide enough for ingress and egress.
right. I mean, it's, if I can go a little bigger, I will. The problem is I have, there's ledge rock there, and I didn't really want to disturb too much more than I need to. I would have no problem pulling my pickup truck in the garage. That's probably the biggest thing I'm going to pull in a garage, and I don't think there will be a problem with what I have.
And this garage addition is strict for your own person. It's not for business
Yes.
use.
No. It's my own personal use.
Just a quick question for Bill Donegan. Bill, I'm trying to look up the application, and one of the concerns I had regarding, the driveway not being, a normal driveway is he close to getting impervious coverage? Is he fine with that?
His impervious coverage, let's see, lot coverage, he's allowed 25% and he's at 17.95.
Okay, so in fact, if he decides to widen the driveway, he shouldn't have a problem.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
And we concur with that. Again, this is Joe Gates. We have looked at that pursuant to Mr. Rushke's letter. And as Mr. Ferenzi mentioned, we would certainly be willing to widen the driveway a little bit, but we just didn't want to overcommit based on the ledge rock dimension.
Okay,
And
Mr. Rushke, is that all right with you?
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Again, the only just want to again emphasize that the way the application is being represented is that they do not need a lot grading plan, but if the project grows and all of a sudden grows from a garage into a landscaping project, they may in fact trigger a lot grading, and therefore they may require that. So they just need to be knowledgeable of that and just make sure they don't exceed those limits.
Okay.
Mr.
Yes.
Gates and Mr. Ferenzi, you're in agreement with that?
That's correct. We could certainly go over those numbers with the Ferenzis to make sure. And if we need to document further numbers as we get into construction documents, we could submit those for the board's review or for the borough engineer's review.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody from the board have additional comments or questions?
I do. The existing garage is 484 square feet, and we're adding 912, so we're going up to basically a 6-car garage situation. What if you're only putting a truck in there? What else is the purpose of the garage?
Oh, I have my snow blower. I have a little generator for the house. A lot of stuff. Jesus, I have garbage cans. I have a couple old cars that really need to be in a garage that I cannot fit in the existing garage.
But it's not going to be inhabitable. Not going to be inhabitable, heating and all that.
Actually, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
It will not be habitable? Will there be plumbing
no.
and or electric out there?
I would like electric out there. No plumbing.
Okay.
No other room divisions?
Room divisions? No.
Okay. No, we're only at 1,400 square feet of garage. That's a massive amount of area for, standard storage.
Well, I have antique cars, old cars that need to be in a garage. plus my cars in the wintertime. I'd like to pull them in the garage, my wife's car, my daughter's car. Besides the snow blower and everything else I have, the garbage cans I have, they can't leave them outside. But yeah, I really need that garage.
I have a question. On the side of the existing garage and the new garage, are you going to open that up so that it's one great big area?
There's a double door there.
Yeah,
Correct,
I was
double door.
planning to open it up to about 6 feet.
Okay. Anything else from the board?
The existing garage area is 400, what was that?
480 square feet.
484?
Right. And the new garage is 912.
How about the house? Because that's what we're comparing.
Right. For those two
I don't-
combined areas, 1392 for garage space. In the
The
garage,
existing house is approximately 1,600 square feet.
1,600? Okay, all right.
Footprint.
So we've got 912 plus 482 then, if you're, or no, you had,
you've got 1392, Bill, is the area of garage.
is the total.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the original 484 plus 912.
Yes.
So it's about 87%.
1396. Okay, all right.
I've got one question on the survey, more my own information, but why on the top left does it reference the block and lot, but shown on the tax map of the township of Hillside in Union County?
Oh, yeah, I see that too.
Just a typo.
Not at all unusual, unfortunately.
Well, we already have that on the property. Now we have, that's an area, probably 9 by 12 by 10 by 12.
What's that, Bob?
We already have a shed on the property. You know, we're talking storage. We got one shed already. Now we're getting a bigger garage. You know, wasn't the first garage add on in with?
I believe that garage was part of the construction when the house was built.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the garage is tucked in behind the existing garage, and you got a giant hill behind going up. So, I mean, you got 16 feet of it that you're going to see.
It's going to look nice. We're putting 3-foot eaves on it, wood doors in the front. It's going to be a nice looking. It's going to definitely add to the property.
Mr. Gates,
Yes,
just for the record, you're licensed in the state of New Jersey, and
that's
you've
correct.
worked this board in the past.
That's correct. I've been before this board in the past.
Oh, many times.
Many times.
Okay. Anything else from the board?
Oh, and just for the record, board members, there was a second comment on Mr. Rushke's report regarding the square footages
Right.
of the disturbance. And that was the garage area plus 5 feet around two sides for disturbance. So for what that's worth, there's 200 feet of additional disturbance in addition to the garage, just to answer his question.
Right. Okay. I'm going to open this up to the public. Would anybody from the public like to comment or question anything at all about this application? Anybody from the public? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen. In reactions, raise your hand. I'll wait a moment while Mr. Tappan looks over the field. Ron, do you see anybody?
No, sir, I don't see anybody.
Okay, then I'll bring
I'm
it back
getting
to the board.
Heck of a feedback from somebody.
Yeah.
God, I can't see it.
Okay, what is the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion, we grant the variances required to construct this garage.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Danielle?
Who was the second?
Mark
Me.
Gaffney.
Thanks, Mark. Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Riley,
Yes.
Mr. Tappan,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
Mayor Francis.
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. Okay, is there anything else? Okay,
ladies
thank
and
you.
gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Gates, and thank you, Mr. and Mrs.
Thank you very
Ferenczi.
much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Okay, have a nice evening.
All right, have a good evening.
You too. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
next, Joseph and Deborah Fagan, block 10402, lots 234, 337 Flora. Applicants would like to install a shed, variances being requested and so on. Is there somebody here representing the Fagans tonight?
Yes, my name is Joe Fagan. I'm here representing my wife and I, Deborah.
Okay, would you please raise your hand? Be sworn in by our attorney.
You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, so help me God.
And you are a property owner?
I am. We are.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Fagan, go right ahead.
Okay, thank you for hearing me this evening, and thank you for your consideration. We are installing a shed on our property. We own 3 lots. Each lot is 50 by 150 foot deep, and we did a deed of consolidation to combine our property into one lot, which is now 150 by 150. And the shed was ordered back in April. As you can well imagine, it's quite a period of time now to get anything. So we ordered it back in April, and the shed is 16 feet by 10 foot deep. A typical shed would be 16 feet by 8 foot deep. I ordered the additional 2 feet in depth because we do have a small house, not realizing that it would conflict with the formula, considering the square foot of our house and our existing garage. So we are 2 feet over. Mr. Donegan tried to give me as much leadway as possible without having to seek a variance, and he certainly was very helpful. But unfortunately, we do need to seek the variance, and I'm here before you this evening requesting that variance. I have since done a deed of consolidation, and I do have that number if as registered in the Sussex County office. And the other question that was presented was, is there any work that needs to be done on the site? And the answer to that would be no. It's ready to be delivered and dropped off. And of course, the company that is dropping it off will level it on site, but it's going on to a level piece of land in our property. There are no, because we have a very large lot and a wooded lot, there are no setback violations or considerations to be made on the shed itself. The only variance would be because of the size of the shed. And I might add that it's 16 feet left to right, and the additional 2 feet, which makes it 10 feet front to back, is not even going to be noticed from the road. It would be virtually impossible to notice the depth of the shed from the road. So by no means would it be overbearing or overwhelming to the public that's passing, if they could in fact even see the shed. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them for you, but I am seeking a variance for the shed installation.
Okay, there are no other sheds on the property, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Anything else from the board?
No.
I'm just curious as to the edge of the shed from the property line. What's that? There's no measurement on your drawing. Do you know what that?
I don't have if I don't have it on my drawing, I can estimate it to be at least 20 feet. It's probably even longer, further than that.
Okay,
But that would be a fair estimate.
That's full 50 feet. It's kind of more to the one side, so I don't think that's going to be a problem.
yeah, I
That's
don't either,
correct.
but it's just not on the drawing, that's all.
My oversight, I apologize.
I just think it's out of scale. It's fine. It looks fine.
I don't think anybody will notice it because most of those people on that road are going 50 miles an hour.
Yes.
I don't even notice that anymore.
Okay, anything else from the board?
No, sir.
Okay, in that case, I will open it to the public. Would anybody from the public like to comment or question this application at all? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen and in reactions, raise your hand. We'll wait for a moment as Mr. Tappan looks things over. See anyone, Ron?
I don't see anything yet. No,
Okay.
sir.
I will bring it back to the board. What is the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second it.
Okay, we have a
Mr. Duncan?
motion and a second.
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock,
yes,
Mr. Ray,
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Riley,
Yes,
Mr. Toppin,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. Okay, very good. Mr. Fagan, you have our blessing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your support and patience. And just one final question. Does that mean I can call and have the shed delivered?
Well,
waiver of
actually,
memorialization.
you have to wait a month for memorialization unless you request a waiver of memorialization, in which case you could go and get any permits necessary tomorrow.
Yes, I would request such a waiver.
Okay,
move it.
somebody want to make that motion?
So moved.
Second,
Who is the second?
Bob.
Duncan.
Thank you. Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock,
yes,
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Riley,
Yes,
Mr. Toppin,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Fagan, you have our blessings. You have our waiver of memorialization. So you could go as early as tomorrow and pick up any permits that are necessary.
What time does the building open?
Ron, what time?
9.
Construction Danielle, what do you guys think? I call it 9 o'clock.
9.
I will be there at 9 o'clock in 1 second.
Very good.
The door will be open.
I'm
Mr.
going to need a
Very
little
much.
time for coffee.
I believe you do not need any building permits. You're under 200 square feet and your side walls are not going to be any higher than 8 feet high. So I do not believe you're going to need any building permits.
How about that?
Oh, so I can just call for delivery then.
Very good.
Thank
Thanks, Bill.
you very much. I appreciate everyone's cooperation and help and guidance, especially Danielle and Nicole. They were very helpful despite my asking a million questions.
Well, good luck to you, Mr. Fagan.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have George and Donna Green, block 30702, lot 13, 46 West River 6th Road. Applicants would like to replace previous improvements with new patio, deck, dock, and staircase. Somebody here representing the Greens.
Yes, there's Luce Hubbard with the law office of Larry Weiner, and my client should be on the call as well. They're not on my screen at the moment.
Okay.
This is George Green. I am on the screen. Hi, Elise.
There's George Green. Okay. Somebody have
Does
a
somebody,
radio on?
Alan, you know, I asked, does somebody have a phone on that's reverbing the Zoom meeting? Because I'm getting a heck of a feedback here where I don't think people can hear.
So am I.
And I can't tell where it's coming from. Check your
Not me.
phones, check something that might have a dual speaker system on, because it's
Right.
reverbing.
Okay, let's try
I feel like I'm
again.
at a Metallica concert.
How about we all mute? How about
Yes.
we all
Yeah.
mute?
It's gone now.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do, thank Rich. That's a great, let's do that.
Okay, so we have Ms. Hubbard.
Yes, yes.
And
Good
you
evening.
are, now you are an attorney?
I'm an attorney licensed in the state of New Jersey, correct? I'm with the
Okay,
law office of Larry Weiner out of Rockaway.
okay, and, okay, Mr. Green, would you please raise your right hand and our attorney will swear you in. Ms. Hubbard doesn't have to be sworn.
You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
No.
And you're a property owner
I am.
of this property? Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
With my wife.
Okay, and Ms. Hubbard, you're an attorney in the state of New Jersey. Have you testified before this board before?
I don't believe I've been in Hopatcong before.
I didn't think so.
Maybe quite some time ago, I think I did an application where there was an encroachment over a lot line for a walkway, or I think probably a couple of years ago now.
Oh, okay. Bill, do you have any questions for her?
No, she's a licensed attorney. She's fine.
Okay, good enough. Who's
Thank you.
going to start, Mr. Green or Ms. Hubbard?
I'm going to actually question my client. So just as a
Go
way
right
of
ahead.
background, this is I'm sure you're familiar with lakefront property on Lake Hopatcong. It contains a single family home with a deck, a covered porch, a patio, and steps. There are lakefront improvements, which is the reason that we're here before the board tonight. I'll have my applicant or my witness rather testify, but the improvements needed to be replaced. They were done so we're actually here ex post facto for approval. We need 3 variances, one for construction within 50 feet of the lake, one for a retaining wall setback. We have 5 feet, 5 feet is required. We are at 0 feet, existing and proposed. And then the irregularly shaped lot exceeds the square footage. 50 feet is permitted and 64.16 feet is proposed. The lot also has some non-conforming conditions. It's undersized with regard to lot width, front yard setback, and side yard setback. None that really impact this application, but they are pre-existing non-conforming conditions that will not be exacerbated as part of this application. So, Mr. Green, you are the owner of this property?
Yes, with my wife.
And how long have you owned the property?
About 10 years now.
And is this your primary residence?
No, we use this as a weekend house. We live in Frieden.
Okay. And when you purchased the property, what condition was it in?
It was in almost tear down state. We did a complete renovation to the entire house property, pretty much from top to bottom.
And all that was done with permits?
All under permits, yes.
And a certificate of occupancy was granted?
Yes, actually just a month or 2 ago.
Okay.
Oh. And can you explain to the board why you're here and what improvements you've made?
Yeah, so there was in the dock area alongside the water, there was a pre-existing concrete seawall with a actually 2-level patio above it, all made of concrete. It was in significant disrepair. It was crumbling, cracked, collapsing. And what we did, and the intent here was that it was in the, it was a repair. We did not expand, change, or anything as far as footprint or design of this, but we simply stabilized the existing concrete. And then where the concrete patios were, we laid over them just a wood sleepers with a wooden deck, because it was just, there's no way we're going to get what was there leveled out. So we just did that to level it. There was also a low retaining wall above the first patio, which was again concrete and was mostly crumbling or falling over. So we replaced that with just I think 3 or 4 layers of concrete wall stones, and then we laid on top of that where the other patio was, which was concrete. We just basically put stone dust over the top of that and then laid pavers on it to again level it off and clean it up. So that's the extent of what we did as far as patio. The dock was wood. It was in bad shape. We essentially replaced it like for like, where we needed to. It actually ended up, we made it about 3 inches narrower because I wanted to be sure I was inside the 10-foot limit. But it's essentially exactly as it was when we purchased the property, and must have been for many years. Moving up from the dock up to the house, there was pre-existing a set of concrete stairs, again in bad shape. What we did was we used those concrete stairs essentially as footings, and then just put a low wooden set of stairs up to the house, up to the level of the house.
Okay.
And then alongside the house, there was a concrete sidewalk. We laid pavers over the top of that. And there was also a concrete patio, which we again put pavers over, and we built a pergola over the top of that. So
Okay.
not all of that, not all of that was, I think, subject to this variance, but I just want to be complete in what I was describing as far as what we had done for the repairs.
Okay. And I'm just going to ask you some questions. Based on Mr. Rushke's report from Mott McDonald, there's 3 permit by rules that this project falls within. So I just want to get some of that testimony on the record, and then Mr. Rushke, I'm sure, will have some follow-up questions. But was there a vegetative buffer there when you purchased the property along the lakefront?
No, it was just in the area where I worked, it was just the concrete wall.
Okay. And have you, I'm sorry. You went way ahead of my notes, so I have to flip the page.
Sorry, Lisa.
That's okay. So did you revegetate any of the area?
So we did some garden plantings in some areas around the patio, but essentially we didn't remove anything, and we didn't put anything back.
Okay, and do you propose any utilities or fuel tanks or solar panels associated with the lakefront improvements?
No, not at all.
And is there anything, any enclosure? Is it all open decking? Are there banisters? Is there any sort of boathouse associated with the improvements?
No structure of that sort.
And anything there that would be habitable?
Not at all.
Okay, that's all I have for direct questioning of my applicant.
I don't see any dimensions on the survey. What are the dimensions of the deck? I see a 9.8 feet, but I don't know if that's depth or width. What is it then by the dock?
That should be the width of the dock, right? You kept it within 10 feet? Yeah.
It's 9.8 feet wide?
Yes.
And how deep is it?
How far out into the water?
Yes.
So that should be on the dimensions there. It's roughly, it's 24-ish feet.
Okay, I don't see it on my.
I don't see that either. I apologize.
Yeah, and I don't see any dimensions on the deck or the patio. I don't see any dimensions really of interest down there.
We could, I mean, as a condition, I know we're going to have to submit revised drawing.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I think one of the other thing in the Mott McDonald report is the survey should depict the offset of the proposed dock.
Right, and I'd like to hear more about the railroad tie wall also. I didn't hear Mr. Green say anything about that, but I do see it on the survey.
That wall was there when we purchased property. We didn't make any alterations to that. It's been there.
Well, I don't see any dimensions of that. I don't see how far it is from the water. I'd like to know that. I mean, even though it's not, you're not asking for any variances for it, it may trigger a variance.
I'm sorry, we're getting feedback again.
Yeah, I mean, I just scaled it. It looks like it's beyond 50 feet based on the scale of the survey.
Okay.
I don't know if it looks like it's closer to, well, that's looks like it's about 65 feet from the river, from the water.
Okay,
Yeah, we'd be happy to have our surveyor add in any dimensions like this that you'd want.
yeah, I would also like to know how far that propane tank is from the lot line. There's a propane tank behind the patio that's up alongside the house.
Does that service the house, Mr. Green?
Yes.
We can have that, and it looks like to me it's less than 50 feet, but not by much.
Yeah, I would like to have that added as well.
Yeah, we can have that added in. The propane tank was permitted when it was installed back about 8 years ago.
Okay,
We pulled whatever necessary permits were at the time.
yeah, but the survey should show these things.
Okay.
Anything else from the board?
Well, it looks to me like he doing a lot of improvements on stuff that's already existing. Maybe except for some repairs on the dock, and everything else looks like the walkway and the patio. And the steps he's going over, there's nothing new added. He's actually more or less maintaining them, unless I'm missing something.
That's what it looks like.
That's exactly what I tried to stick to. I didn't want to disturb anything but the existing footprint. I was very careful to stay to that.
Yeah, so as I see it, if there's anything pre-existing, we just have to verify or certify that, and that's to protect the applicant. But what I'm looking at, I don't see anything new on here as such.
Right. Anything else from the board? Seeing none, I will open it up to the public then. Would anybody from the public like to comment or question this application at all? We did not get any correspondence this time from the Lake Hopatcong Commission, which we normally do. If anyone from the public would like to question or comment on this application, please go to the bottom of your screen, reactions, and raise your hand. Ron, do you see anyone?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay, then I will bring it back to the board. What is the pleasure of the board?
I'll move it.
Okay, motion by Mayor Francis. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Schindler.
Mr. Duncan,
You want to stipulate that we need that plan, the revised plan as part of that?
Yeah, Mike, why don't you have him stipulate that, or he has to update the plan?
Yeah, that's fine. We'd like the site plan with the dimensions on it.
So the dimensions of the deck, the propane tank, and the railroad tie wall.
Anything.
The size of the dock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the dock, I'm sorry. The deck, the dock, the patio, railroad tie wall, propane tank.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay, got it.
How about a site plan? That'd be great.
It's a single family home. I know site plans make things a lot easier, but.
They do.
Yeah.
Hey, Danielle?
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock,
yes,
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Riley,
Yes.
Mr. Tappan,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes.
Thank you
Okay,
very
Mr.
much.
Green, you have our approvals. And we thank you very much, and your attorney as well for showing up tonight.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you,
time this
everybody.
evening. We appreciate it.
Okay, have a nice evening.
Bye-bye.
You too. Take care.
We will go now to the zoning officer report. Bill, do you have anything for us?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm going to make an attempt to share a screen and show you a couple pictures. Hopefully I don't disappear on you.
Okay.
I don't know about this. Well, we'll give it a try. Can you see some pictures?
Nope, I see your glasses.
All right, then.
I think your glasses.
All right, let's not do that. And,
Have you got, Bill, do you have the files open?
well, I do, and now I've lost the, I've actually lost, I can hear you, but I can't see anybody now. So I don't have that, the ability to check that thing. So let me just explain it. It's a boathouse that needs to be, repaired. And it's an unusually built boathouse in that it's got structural steel skeleton, along the walls, the roof, and, in between the structural steel, there's concrete, infill block. So, excuse me, it's not concrete, it's, cinder block. And the cinder block being by the water that has rotted and it needs to be replaced. So the intent is to actually remove all the cinder block from the walls, but that will leave, the steel skeletal system. And it's like H beams, I beams. It's heavy steel. And it'll leave it so that it'll have the walls, the front and the rear, the roof, and as a matter of fact, the actual roof of the boathouse is concrete slabs that is laid on top of this masonry steel, and that's going to remain. So I felt I was going to consider this partial destruction under our rebuild ordinance, restoration ordinance, and I just wanted to make sure that nobody in the board had any issues with that.
Okay, anybody from the board have any issues with it?
But the steel is going to still be there. The steel frame is going to be there, correct?
It's not exactly. It's remaining so that the exact size of this thing is going to be exactly the same because the actual skeleton is going to be still there. It's not being removed. It's remaining, as is the roof.
Bill, are they going to replace the concrete block?
Pardon?
Bill, are they going to replace the concrete block or just leave it without?
They're going to replace that. I believe they're going to actually use steel studs and in some form of stucco type siding, if I have that right. But
they're not going to replace it with cinder block.
Good God, no. Well, I don't know that you could even get it anymore.
Right. Good.
No, I mean, he's not doing anything to enhance any ordinance or any variances or anything like that. He's building within the footprint.
I'm just guarding against the argument that it's more than partial destruction. If we can consider it, less than or partial destruction, then I can simply approve, effectively same size, same location, although it's not going away. It's still the same structure.
They haven't changed the profile, so the structure hasn't changed. So it's really just it's a repair.
Yeah, it's a repair. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I look at it.
You're good,
Bill.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Bill?
Nope, that's it for me. Mr. Haggerty's going to bring something up under when we open it to the public, but other than that, that's it.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Any items that we need to discuss? Okay, we have no resolutions. We have no correspondence. Escrow refund, Donna Coyle, 124 Hudson Avenue. That's information only. Should we pay the bills?
Pay the bills.
Second.
Please.
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mr. Gaffney,
Yeah.
Mrs. Crock,
yes,
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Riley,
Yes.
Mr. Tappan,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. Okay, we're going to pay the bills. I will now open the meeting to the public. I will ask the public, is there anyone who wants to address the board on any matters at all? Okay, Bill Haggerty, did you have something you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, Black Castle is represented by Kelly. I've spoken with about the application. They were hoping to get before the board tonight. Sent notice to owners within 200 feet. His office.
But Bill, start again, please, because you're
Everybody
breaking up
mute.
terribly.
Everybody mute. Everybody mute.
Everybody mute. I'm going to mute
Everyone mute.
also.
Okay. Black Castle is an applicant before the board. Kevin Kelly represents Black Castle. I've spoken with him a number of times about this application. His office noticed the application for hearing this evening, hoping that they got it right. They assumed the tax assessor's list. They didn't have it in time, but they did get the notice to owners within 200 feet in time, and it turned out it did get verified by the tax assessor's list. But however, they did not know the utility companies, which is statutorily required, so they couldn't get in before the board tonight. Basically, I'd indicated in our conversation, I would ask the board to consider carrying the notice to the owners within 200 feet to the November 1st meeting. He would then notice the public utilities for that meeting and come before the board at that time.
Mr. Haggerty,
Mhm.
can I add one thing?
Yes.
I did look at that noticing letter. It was not complete. They didn't have a meeting ID date in there. I don't know if that has any bearing, because
It has-
we didn't
has
give
every-
them one because the application hadn't been deemed complete. So
Okay.
should they come to the November 1st meeting with notice, having the new ID information?
Yes. Didn't have information in regard to the meeting date or meeting, then they should notice the application in full, owners within 200 feet and by publication.
And then the cutoff date for that would be this Friday. Are they aware of that?
They'd have to get it in the paper tomorrow, really. Yeah,
By noon.
by noon.
It has to be paid for with the Herald and everything by noon for a Friday run.
Right, okay. I've got a cell phone number somewhere. Okay. I'll have to find it again. Okay.
Okay, anybody want to comment about that? Okay, thank you, Bill. Thank you, Danielle. Is there anybody from the public who would like to address the board on any issues at all? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen. On reactions, raise your hand. Okay, seeing no one, I will bring it back to the board. Is there any old business?
Yeah, I guess it's old business. I want to reiterate the badges that were all handed out the last meeting or by the last meeting. And just a reminder that, yeah, when you go on properties to look at, what applications that we have, and you got to go out on the property and look at it. That's a good thing to do, is display the badge. That way, the people there know you're represented by the borough. I just caution to the wind for everybody that once the application's done, resolution's been approved, and this person's gone in and got their construction permits and they're banging nails in their construction, that badge does not give you the liberties to go back on that property. It doesn't. We don't have any bureaucracy to go back as a regulatory, and that badge doesn't turn that regulatory statute on for us. So just remember that. Okay?
Thank you very much, Ron. Any other old business? Is there any new business? Ron, did you get the email that I sent you today?
What time did you send that, Alan?
It was late. I sent you an email. I sent you an email, or actually, I think it was a text message, because I knew the emails wouldn't get there. I asked if you would make me co-host of this meeting before we leave, so that I could stay on and close the meeting. I have a couple of people I have to speak to after the meeting.
Whatever your desires are, Alan, I can handle that. You do that on the fly.
Okay, thank you. Any other new business? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Crock?
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Ron, please make me the co-host. And
Okay.
Mr. Haggerty,
Yes.
I will email you first thing in the morning with the meeting ID information.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
okay, Mr. Haggerty, would you please stay? And the person who called me today, stay also. And everybody else.
Recording stopped.
Okay, and Mr. Mayor, you might want to stay too.
Alan, you don't need me, correct?
Right, I don't need you, Rick. Thank you.
Okay, have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
We're moving. See you, Rich.
Night, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, Bill done it. Okay, Mayor Francis is here. Okay, people are leaving. Okay.